everyone, and welcome to GIR Golf. I am Jim, and welcome to today's golf rules tip where we talk about taking cart path relief. Now, my golf ball has come to rest here on the cart path, and this is a common scenario that happens on our golf courses. Here at Stonecrest Golf Course and Community in Bedford, Indiana, our cart paths are concrete. Many of yours are. This may be asphalt or this may be gravel, but they all classify under the rules of golf as abnormal course conditions, and more specifically, immovable obstructions. And anytime we come in contact with these or come across these areas of immovable obstructions, we're entitled to some options, and we're going to go over that in this video. Let's have some fun and see what we can do about this situation. Option number one, anytime this happens to you, is to simply play the ball as it lies without penalty. You can always do this, and sometimes, depending on the situation, when we get further into this golf rule, this may be your best option. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take and just try to advance the ball here. I'm up here pretty close to the green, and let's say that I didn't want to take relief, and this is my only option, so I'll just hit the shot here. You'll notice there I intentionally hit that thin. One of these days I'll show you some tips on how to save yourself from injury and also save your clubs from getting damaged when you try something like that. But option number one, you can simply play the ball as it lies without penalty. All right, option number two, which is our most common option, is to simply take free relief. Because this is an abnormal course condition, we are allowed under the rules of golf to take free relief, and this is how you do it. I see this part done a little bit incorrectly, so pay very close attention. Step number one, if I want to take free relief, is to go shoot my yardage and decide what club I want to use for this shot. Very important. So now I've got my 60-degree wedge. That's what I'm going to hit. I'm up here close to the green. And now I got to find my nearest point of complete relief. And what that means is I got to find the closest point relative to where this ball is that this cart path no longer interferes with my golf ball's lie, my stance, or my swing path. Again, I got to find the closest point where those conditions the cart path doesn't interfere with: the golf ball's lie, my stance, and my swing path. So I'll demonstrate how to do that. It's a good idea to bring some tees with you to do this. So I've got my club that I've chosen to use for this shot, and it's very important when finding the nearest point of complete relief that we don't get any closer to the golf hole. We cannot go closer to the hole. So I'm going to do that, and you can see if I address my ball here, the cart path is interfering with my golf ball, so I'm entitled to free relief. So now if I back up here to this point, now that I get on some grass, kind of take a rehearsal swing, okay, I feel like I still may be affected by this path, this cart path, with my swing path. So I'm going to back up just a little more. Okay, I feel pretty good right there. Now you'll notice I made it very obvious that I did not want to get closer to the hole. You can't do that. To find your nearest point of complete relief, take the club that you're going to hit for the shot, and I usually back up here using the principles of a circle, making sure I'm not any closer to the hole. Sometimes you may need to get your rangefinder in a real tight situation around the green. Find that point to where my stance is not affected by the cart path, the golf ball's lie, and my swing path, and then simply put a tee down. That is the nearest point of complete relief reference point that we're going to use to mark out our relief area next. Now the rules of golf say when taking free relief from a cart path or any immovable obstruction, that once we find our nearest point of complete relief, that we are allowed to take a drop within one club length of that point. So all club lengths in the rules of golf are measured by the longest club in your bag, except for your putter. Most of you, that's going to be your driver. Let me show you a little tip. Take that driver head cover off because you need to do that in a serious tournament situation. Take that driver head cover off. Working off of this point, I'm going to lay my driver down, step back, and make sure I'm not any closer to the hole. For example, I don't want to be like this because I'm going to be closer to the hole. Cannot be closer to the hole. Driver down, put a tee down right there. I could even come over here, put a tee down. If I wanted to be extra safe, I could put another one right there. Now I've mapped out my relief area. And then now the rules of golf say I can pick my golf ball up and I can clean this or even substitute a new ball if it got scuffed up. So this one here looks pretty good. I'm going to wipe it off, but if it's got a scuff, or if you just want to, you can get another ball out of your bag anytime you take a drop. So now I'm going to survey where I want to drop within this 1 club length area that's outlined by these tees. Drop the ball at knee height. The ball landed in that relief area, stayed in there. Now I can pick my tees up. Grab the club I was going to use, hit my shot without penalty. All right, now let's look into a couple different scenarios here talking about your nearest point of complete relief. Again, before we can take that free drop, we got to find our nearest point of complete relief. So, for example, I got the golf ball a little more in the middle of the path. It was pretty obvious that I was going to be closer over here. I didn't even take the time to talk about that, but often your ball will be more towards the middle. So we got to make sure that we're on the correct side of the cart path to take our drop, our nearest point. So take the club, step 1, take the club you're going to use for this shot. Come back here. Find where that path is no longer in your way. Put a tee down. But because this is kind of questionable, because my closest point may be on this side, I've got to also go over here. Go to the point where my stance is off the path. Okay, my stance, definitely my golf ball's lie here is not going to be affected. My swing path, got to make sure you get my stance off of here, not any closer to the hole. Put a tee down. Let me redo that, make sure I'm accurate here. Okay, stance is off, put a tee down right there. Now you say, well, how do I know if that's the nearest point? In this situation here, it'd be a good idea to kind of walk it off without moving your ball. Maybe count 2, 3, 4, okay, 5 steps to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, my nearest point of complete relief would be on this side of the path. I would go from this point, mark out my 1 club length relief area, take my drop. Now, let's talk about if I was left-handed. So I'll remove these. Let's see what happens if I was left-handed. If I was a left-handed golfer, obviously my point would be, you know, obviously right here, rather the path is interfering with all 3 parts. I got to find where it doesn't interfere with any. Make sure I'm not any closer to the hole. Let's say that point right there. Put a tee down. Okay, just to make sure to see what side my nearest point of complete relief, I need to come over here. Find where my stance is no longer affected. That point's going to be here. Put a tee down. Always put a tee down where you're going to be addressing the ball. Now, I don't think we even need to measure this. If I was left-handed, my nearest point of complete relief would be on that side of the cart path. So remember that. Depends on you, the golfer, what club you use for the shot. It may affect which side you need to take a drop. I'll show you another example where you would be entitled to free relief if you choose so. My golf ball actually has not come to rest on the cart path, but however, you'll notice my stance is affected by this abnormal course condition, and in this case, the cart path. And I can, of course, play this ball as it lies without penalty, but also I'd be entitled to free relief. So I would simply come over here, make sure I'm not any closer to the hole, get where my stance is no longer affected, put a tee down. You know, in this case, because I'm right-handed, I know for sure that's going to be my nearest point on this side, and then I would work off a 1 club length area, not any closer to the hole, take my drop without penalty. So again, the golf ball doesn't always have to be on the cart path for you to be entitled to free relief. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this has educated you and showed you some tips. The real big tip is make sure you select what club you're going to use when you start mapping out this relief area. And also remember to take that driver head cover off when you measure all your dropping areas out there. Remember to smile often, have fun. God loves you. We'll see you next time.